What is up guys, Newlimits here, and today I wanted to show you guys my GR 130 clear that I did on the Necromancer in the opening weekend of Season 22. Now I'm using a little bit of a different build here. I'm going with the Cold Rune, not the Blighted Marrow, the Poison Rune for Bone Spear. There is a reason for that and I'll explain it in a second, but if you want to check out what exact build I am using, I will leave a link in the description to a D3 planner where you can actually see the exact gear that I am using to clear this GR. And you can also look at the passives that I'm using, you can look at the skills that I'm using and everything. So it's all there, you can just check it out. It's really nice. And also what I like to say is that I don't think this build is necessarily better. I do feel like it's a little bit more casual friendly. I feel like it's a little bit more tough. You can stand still a lot more in certain situations. You die less fast. You can throw a lot more bone spears. And your rotations are a little bit easier because you don't have to group everything up. So I just feel like this is a little bit of an easier setup. So that is what I am using. I'm using the Captain Crimson set. So you're gonna have a lot of resource cost reduction. As you can see, I can throw down quite a lot of bone spears before I run out. You get a lot of attack speed, so that's also really nice. So I think it's a really good setup. You can definitely clear pretty high with this as well. I'm only Paragon 995, so that's really not that high. I don't have any augments on my gear as well, so I really do think that you can clear quite high with this one. So it's definitely very potent, so I encourage you to try this one out. It felt really good. So okay, I'm gonna talk about the GR now. I'm gonna walk you guys through it, what I was thinking, why I'm doing certain things, and so forth. If you guys enjoy this type of video, please hit that like button, and let's just go. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to group everything up as well as I can. We don't really have a group mechanic. We do have the follower can group a little bit using the S of Jonas, but other than that we don't really have any way of grouping. As you can see, I tanked quite a lot there before I procced, so this is really a pretty tanky build. I'm just trying to get the elite down here. I'm trying to get into the Oculus ring every single time. You definitely want to use your dislocation, your bone armor on your cold cycle if you can. It's not always possible, but that is what you would like to do. Always try to get into your Oculus ring because you're gonna gain a whole lot of damage. You definitely want to make sure too that when you are in your cold cycle from your convention of elements, that you have the most essence that you can really drop as much as you can. I've also noticed that wallers are incredibly annoying in this build because you can't actually really decide where your simulacrums are, and if there are wallers around them, they actually throw the spears into the wall. You can't control where they are shooting it, and you have a significant damage loss. So it's really annoying to fight against elites with waller. What you could do to kind of negate that is get the health potion where you destroy the walls if you're using it. As you can see here, he's throwing it in the wall. It's completely useless. But you can get the health potion that destroys walls. So you could go for that one. I haven't gotten it yet, but that would be a really good option for this build, for sure. So what I'm doing here, I'm just trying to clear everything out as fast as I can. You want to hit as much enemies as possible because you will gain a lot of attack speed. As you can see, we can throw out a lot of bone spears. We have a lot of resource cost reduction. Also, the reason why I really like the Captain Crimson set is because you don't really want any cooldown reduction on your gear at all. But I felt like the bone armor dropped quite often if I didn't have Captain Crimson. So you're getting 20% cooldown reduction for free. You're also getting 5 from your Paragon points, and that cooldown reduction is converted into damage, so you also gain 25% increased damage. And your bone armor is up way more often, it doesn't drop down, so it's actually really nice. Alright, so here I wanted to kill as much as I possibly could. And the reason why I actually tried to kill as much there is so that I could get a Pylon spawn on the next map that I was going for, and I got it. I got a Pylon, so that's really nice. So when you see a Pylon, what you want to do is you want to drag as much elites as you can to that area. It's a waller again, because we love that. And you just really want to try to get all the elites down to the pylon so you can get them down with the conduit shrine. That's something that you always want to do. Now what you can do is you can decide either to pull the entire map, and that is something that I don't do. Maybe I should have done that, but I knew that if I just had like a decent run, I could probably do this clear. What you maybe wanted to do is pull even more to the conduit pylon. Now the problem is the conduit pylon, if it's in the middle of the map, it's a lot easier to drag the whole map towards it. But this is at the start of the map, so that is actually a pretty bad pylon spawn. Oh, I'm sorry. So that's actually a really bad pylon spawn. That's really unfortunate, and that is why I don't actually drag everything towards it. But generally you want to drag as much elites as you possibly can towards that pylon. So that is what I am doing here. I'm just trying to clear out as much trash as I can around it. Because of course the conduit only hits about 5 to 6 enemies, I believe. So you want to make sure that the conduit is hitting as much of the elites as it possibly can. So that is what it is doing right now. It is killing absolutely everything, so that is really nice. So definitely just drag everything along. Yeah, I know sometimes it can feel like you're wasting a whole lot of time, but you are gonna be able to make up for that time with all the elites that you are going to be able to kill. So that is really, really nice. So now we're just trying to get as fast as we can to the other side of the map. We're gonna see if we got more elites. If we have more elites here, so that would be really nice. Also, we're using the Grim Scythe. It's also gonna give you some attack speed. So what you could do is you could actually use the scythe, the auto attack, I mean, the Grim Scythe, to get a lot of attack speed extra that you can then use for your Bone Spear. So that's also really nice. So I'm just trying again like to group everything up. When you have your cold cycle, you really want to make sure that you just drop all of the essence that you can. Make sure that you walk far enough away because we are using the Z-Stone, so you want to make sure that you keep as much distance as you can to the enemies that you want to hit. And here I was noticing like, okay, I'm probably not gonna be able to kill them. So I'm just gonna walk away and I'm gonna go to the next zone. So this zone is very unfortunate. If we got a better map, we would have cleared it a lot faster. But I'm noticing that my time is pretty good here, so I'm trying to just clear out as much trash as I can at this point. I was also looking at all the different types of curses that you can go with. I just went with the Aura of Frailty. I'm also using the passive Eternal Torment, which is gonna make every curse that I apply stays on them forever. And I'm using that with Spreading Malediction, which basically means that I will be able to gain 1% increased damage for each enemy that I cursed. So I'm gonna make sure that all the curses that I apply stay forever, and I gain 1% increased damage for them. So that is a really nice combination. It's gonna give you a lot of free damage. So that's why you want to make sure that you always want to walk around. Make sure you apply as much curses as you can. It's gonna give you a lot more damage. And then you just want to nuke everything down with your cold cycle on your Convention of Elements. And then you just want to go back. And you want to just go further. So always focus on big packs. Don't really waste your time on the really small ones. If you see that some enemies are low, you can try to execute them with your Aura of Frailty. And then you just want to go further. So again here, what I'm just gonna do is gonna gain my attack speed with my Grim Scythe a little bit. I'm gonna make sure I line everything up. I have a cold cycle. I'm gonna use my dislocation. I'm gonna drop the bone spears, everything that I have. I'm just gonna try to get as much density as I can. I'm gonna try to nuke it all down. And when I'm noticing that there is not enough density anymore, I just leave and I go to the next pack. And that is really how you want to play this build. But yeah, I really enjoy this build. I think it's really fun to play. It feels really smooth. Your attack speed is really nice. So again, here we're just trying to aggro everything around it, so you want to make sure that you curse everything around it, you gain more damage. You want to apply as much damage as you can, so you want to throw it through some enemies to gain the attack speed with the Crystallize. With the Grim Sight you also gain some attack speed, so that's really nice. And once you have procced with your final service, you always want to make sure that you don't, that you didn't take enough damage so your simulacrums are still alive, because sometimes you actually won't notice that they are dead. Like I did now, I wasn't sure if they were dead or not, so I just made sure that I used the simulacrum again, because sometimes you have no idea if they're dead or not. It's actually quite annoying, but yeah. Here I'm just trying to thin it down again. Alright, when there's not enough anymore, I just skip it, I go further. I get a really terrible map here, so what I'm doing basically is I'm just skipping it altogether. But as you can see, this is actually not the greatest map at all. And I cleared the 130, so I mean, this build is definitely have some potential to clear pretty damn high. So it is getting really close. I am somewhat lucky that I get this here with a lot of trash. But I'm gonna be honest with you, at this point, I was doubting quite hard if I was going to be able to clear the 130. I was honestly kind of sure I wouldn't be able to kill it anymore. Definitely because of the last two maps that I got were absolutely terrible. This map is actually also incredibly bad. Because I don't know if you have noticed if you're playing the Bone Spear set, but your simulacrums, occasionally they fall behind. And when you're throwing your Bone Spears, they stay behind the wall and you lose out like a lot of damage because the simulacrum is just throwing Bone Spears into the wall for no reason. And you have really no way to get them back, only if your simulacrum is up, the cooldown, and you can click it again to make them spawn next to you. But it's really annoying. So this is a really bad map to be in. Basically every map that has a lot of corners, a lot of corridors, a lot of rooms is really bad for the Bone Spear set. You really want to have an open field. That is that would be really nice to get. So here I'm just trying to get to the boss as fast as you can. Also at this point, GR 130, your shadow clones are doing absolutely nothing. So I didn't really want to wait with that, because the Shadow Clones is going to do barely any damage to the Rift Guardian anyways. Like it's a really bad damage. It's really not good. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to get my Stricken stacks up as high as I can. Want to make sure that you use your dislocation on your cold cycle, but that is not always possible because you want to keep your bone armor the cooldown off, because you gain more damage if your bone armor is active with the side of the cycle that you are using. So you really want to make sure that that is always up. If you can, you want to pair that with the cold rune, but on the other hand you have your Z stones, which gives you a 20% chance to stun on hit. You're throwing out a lot of bone spears, so generally the Rift Guardian is going to get stunned anyways. This is a really annoying one because you want to keep your distance for the Z-Stone, but on the other hand he's constantly teleporting to me, so I'm actually losing quite a significant amount of damage here. So the tornadoes are gonna make it pretty hard, and it's gonna be even harder once he starts dropping the little bubbles, and my attack speed is just absolutely gone. I am fighting in a very small area here, so this is actually a really bad spot to be in. A lot of area of effect damage is falling on me. You got the tornadoes, you got the bubbles that I need to dodge. You have the rocks that he's letting fall from the ceiling. So it's actually really annoying. And this is not the best spot to be in. But I didn't have a lot of time left, so I had to play it there. Normally you would kind of drag him to a bigger area, but I couldn't do it because I didn't have any time for it. So I was just trying to clear it as fast as I can with the cold cycle. So you really want to make sure that you have enough essence, so once you get into the cold cycle, that you can just drop the bombs. And here again, the bubble, your attack speed is just absolutely gone. You throw nothing out anymore. It's actually horrible. And yeah, this is basically the clear. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you guys in the next one.